I spoke with the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan. Mr. Chairman, nice to speak to you, sir.
Good to be with you, Greta.
You have made a criminal referral to the Department of Justice. Tell me what it is and why.
Well, I mean, you're not supposed to lie. We all know that. And you're definitely not supposed to lie when you're under oath talking to Congress. I mean, this is, you know this, Greta, as a skilled counselor like you are. 18 U.S.C. Section 1001, you're not supposed to do that. And it sure looks like that's exactly what John Brennan did. He told us he wasn't involved at all with the dossier when they put the intelligence community assessment. He said he didn't want it referenced in the intelligence community assessment back in 2016, 2017. And yet, because of Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard declassifying a House Intelligence Committee's report, it looks like that is exactly wrong, what Brennan said, because in that report they said John Brennan put in writing, yes, include the dossier in the intelligence community assessment. And there was a situation where one individual at the CIA approached Mr. Brennan and said, hey, this dossier doesn't stand up. The underlying intelligence is just not there. It's garbage. It shouldn't be in the report. And Mr. Brennan's response was, yeah, but doesn't it seem right? Doesn't it fit? I mean, he was out to get the president. I think that's obvious from what ODNI Director Gabbard declassified and made available to the public. So I don't do many of these. We really, over the years, haven't done many referrals because I think it's got to be really solid before you do something like this. But this is one where I think the evidence is clear. Mr. Brennan told us under oath he was not involved with the dossier. It wasn't used when, in fact, it was.
All right. Well, it's clear that he hates President Trump. I mean, that's pretty clear from all the things that he says on television. He says he's a danger to national security and everything. But how do you tell the difference between a mistake and a faulty memory and something that is, that's a perjury, that it's material? I mean, how do you get into his head to find this out?
Well, I mean, I think it's the emphasis he put on it when we ask him these questions. The emphasis he put on, no, we weren't involved. That was the FBI. It wasn't the CIA. And then you couple it with Mr. Brennan overall. So we also included in our referral letter a time when then Congressman Gowdy asked Mr. Brennan questions in an open hearing about the dossier. I think he lied there as well. And maybe this is the irony of it all. We were actually deposing Mr. Brennan last Congress on a different issue. It was about the 51 former intel officials who signed that ridiculous letter saying the Hunter Biden laptop was a Russian information operation. We were deposing him about that, and we got into this issue, and that's where we think he lied to us. So I think there's a pattern with Mr. Brennan not being square with Congress, not being square with the American people, and so we use all that, I think, as the basis for this referral.
All right, when we say referral goes to the Attorney General Pam Bondi, and then she makes a decision, or on her underlings, whether to put it before a grand jury, and then it's the grand jury that would ultimately make a decision whether or not they believe there's evidence that there's a crime. That's the process, right?
Yep.
Am I right?
As a great lawyer, you've got it right. It's up to the Justice Department and what they present to the grand jury and what the grand jury does. But again, I think this is pretty compelling. As I said before, we don't do many of these. I think there's a pattern with Mr. Brennan. That's why we put this together. And I think it's really clear. And God bless Tulsi Gabbard for declassifying the report from the House Intelligence Committee that showed just the opposite of what Mr. Brennan testified to under oath when we had him in for his deposition.
One of the hard things about this from my viewpoint is that Brennan, former CIA Director Brennan, has been so outspoken in his hate of Trump, and to bring up another case, former FBI Director James Comey, who has been indicted, is that he leaked a document after he was fired. He hid it through his friend in New York, so he leaked the New York Times. It's their outside activity that makes me suspicious of them. I mean, you obviously have to look to see whether or not that they did lie or not lie, but it's this sort of extraneous stuff, and they seem to they say such horrible things publicly, that it's it's difficult to understand them.
Yeah, great point. I mean, you're right. Comey brings in this guy, Daniel Richmond, brings him in for it seemed to me, the sole purpose of laundering information through him and leaking classified information through him out to the press. And that's what the whole Comey memos and everything else. So I think you're exactly right. And then of course, Brennan and Comey were there when it all began. I mean, this all started in 16 and 17. I say December 2016, between Election Day and then Inauguration Day, that's when this all took place. And they changed the intelligence community report. They changed the report, and Brennan and Clapper were the guys doing it. Comey was part of that. They all go up to Trump Tower on January 6, 2017, brief the president on the report they have changed to make it say something that wasn't supported by the underlying intelligence, the underlying evidence. So just wasn't there. So this is where it began, and now I think these guys are being held to account, which is, I think, appropriate, particularly Mr. Brennan, who I think has shown a pattern of misleading and not being square with Congress and with the country.
Well, and of course, I think what you factor into it as well is that there was the Mueller investigation to see whether or not there was any collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russians, and that came out zero. That cost us $30 to $35 million, I might add. But all this is sort of looped together because, Brennan just despises. He just despises Trump, and it wasn't just losing a race. It seemed like he wasn't willing to give it a fair shake and look at it with a clear mind. Instead, he was just angry and full of distaste for the president-elect.
Yeah, and that came through last Congress when we actually had him in this deposition. I mean, the disdain he had for President Trump, and frankly for us. I mean, this doesn't factor into our decision to do the referral, but maybe one of the most arrogant individuals I've ever been around. It was like, how dare you ask me questions? How dare you talk to me? It was like so much better than us regular, us hillbillies from Ohio country. I mean, that came through so clearly when we had him in this deposition. And again, that doesn't factor into our decision, but it's just like, that's the mindset. He doesn't like President Trump. He's so much smarter than the rest of us. And arrogance and out to get somebody for political reasons is just not a good combination.
Which will make him a challenge for a defense lawyer defending him should it go on to a grand jury, should he get indicted, because that, he forgets, that he's a public servant. He isn't, to pick up a word from this past weekend, a king. Anyway, Mr. Chairman, nice to see you as always, and hope to see you again. I'm a hillbilly from Wisconsin.
Good to be with you, Greta. Keep up the great work.